Okay, so people want rant time. People want to rant. Um. So, I'm gonna play. So one of the Overwatch League caster, Reinforce. He's kind of been like the one of the bigger names that are kind of talking about the hero pool stuff, and so
What's up, everybody?
I'm gonna play it a little bit, and I'll just kind of stop it when I start getting pissed off. But the premise here, guys, the state of Overwatch right now. If you don't know yet, I wrote a very long blog post, like stupidly long. If you want to know what I think about hero pools and how I think they Blizzard implemented them and the reasons why, there's like three pages.
Thank you,
Ridgar. There is like 3 pages of that. If you're really interested in how you think I'm going to take it. But the funny thing is, while I was writing this, I started looking at the forums, and I noticed there's a lot of people now, and they're just like, guys, I don't think hero bans are worth it. And I find it extremely hilarious. You like the rant, Spreadguard? Well, thank you for the $5. Thank you for listening to my rant. So, I'll just play it, and I'll kind of discuss it as it goes along.
It's Reinforced here, and I wanted to talk a little bit about hero pools. It's a very
it's a 10-minute video. I don't think I'll probably skip parts. On the latter part, he's like, "Oh, this is what I think should happen." I'm like, "Oh, don't worry about that. We'll just listen to the first part."
Now in the Overwatch community, and I wanted to give my 2 cents on it because I feel like I have some thoughts that I can provide. But first of all, thank you for stopping by my YouTube channel. I've just now been starting to pump out a lot of content.
Thank you for stopping by my YouTube channel, guys.
Check out my video on
what are the hero pools? Hero pools are basically where X heroes are banned every week. That's what the hero pool system is.
Compilations from the Echo Showdown. But thank you for tuning into my channel. But I wanted to come here and talk a little bit about hero pools because it's a hot topic in the community. And yesterday I went on a bit of a Twitter rant where I brought up some of my points, what I think about the current system.
And I just want to say a lot of people are upset at the current system. And it's not even the current system, how it's implemented. They're just upset at there are hero bans. They want the whole system to go. Can I show how I play? Let's do the rant first.
And how I think we could make it better. So, roughly 6 weeks ago, let's just get into it. Roughly 6 weeks ago, I talked on Platchat about tying hero pools together with stages. So that would allow us to create narratives while allowing hero diversity throughout the seasons.
Context, what he's talking about is Overwatch League stages. So he's like, alright, stage 1, there should be a hero pool. Instead of doing weekly bans, do single hero pool bans for stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. The whole point of that is to allow a narrative. Be like, oh, this is a team that's really good with goats. Oh, this is a team that's not with goats, but with dives. This is a good team with double sniper. This is a good team with X, Y, and Z. And so we have all these kind of like talking points. Can I increase the volume on the video?
So you wouldn't have a full season where you have goats the entire time, because essentially with 4 or 5 stages, whatever, you would allow those hero pools to affect the meta. And you could also allow owl bans based on those stage metas to sort of ban out what the most recent heroes were. So you're sort of creating diversity while tying it to a stage format, and you're allowing yourself to build narratives, you know, how...
And the one reason I will say that I think this is one of his better ideas, is that the problem with GOATs is that it lasted too long. Same thing with Dive. Same thing with any meta that's lasted like 6 to 8 months. If you do it in stages, then it's usually, I forget how long a stage is, but I think it's a couple months. So you'd have a meta for a couple months, and then a meta for a couple months, and then it'd be forced. Also, it would allow people to get better at that meta, which is a big complaint recently. I've been seeing it a lot, where people are just like, oh, we don't have any time to get really good at the meta. Now just kind of like whoever makes up the most random shit possible wins. And I don't agree with that at all, but there is something to be said for allowing a team to practice for one strategy for a very long time.
How sick would it be to maybe have 5 or 6 stages, and then you can earn trophies and you can earn points, etc. And I think that makes for a really cool system where you can build narratives around those hero pools. And I think that would be fantastic for hero pools per se. The biggest problem with that is, number 2, we should probably get rid of hero pools in ranked because of that. Because the number 1 issue is, if you tie hero pools to stages, that is going to mean that you'll ban out heroes for a prolonged amount of time. I mean, that's going to be like a month, you know, I don't even know, longer maybe.
So this is where I start to disagree. A big complaint currently is that the hero bans are tied between Overwatch League and ladder. And people are like, what people do on the ladder is not what people do on Overwatch League. Now, back in the day, when everyone played what Overwatch League was playing, then they would do it, right? Because we had it for so long that people knew it was the best strategy to run, and they ran it. And now people are like, well, we just got to run what we can run, because we get the hero pools at the beginning of the week, right? We get them on Monday. And then the ladder has to play with them, and then we see what Overwatch League does on Friday and Saturday and Sunday. So the ladder has no chance to mimic what you would see in Overwatch League. The problem is that all that's happening is the same, and this is going to happen a lot. I know there's some element of randomness, but McCree and Widow are banned again. Why? Well, because they're the most played. They're the easiest to win with. Now people will just pick the next heroes that are easy to win with. And next week, they'll go back to picking McCree and Widow. And it's kind of doing this flip-flop. The only thing that can really change this is the randomness in the picking system. So basically, because after like 4 heroes, it picks one at random, it may not pick, one of the hit scans.
Without Linkser or someone else playing McCree. And that's not fun for everybody, right? So that doesn't really allow us to have hero pools in ranked. So what I'm suggesting is, number 1, tie hero pools to stages for a prolonged amount of time to help create narratives while allowing diversity throughout the season, which is pretty much what everyone wants. And number 2, get rid of hero pools in ranked, because as I said, we cannot allow heroes to get banned for a prolonged amount of time. Because if players cannot play McCree for like an entire month, players who enjoy playing McCree are just going to stop playing the game.
Okay, so he's... And this is the point where we start really having different ideas. He's like, all right, look, we need to have hero bans and stages, and since they don't align with how the ladder works, just get rid of them in the ladder. I completely disagree. My thoughts on it are ban the heroes that are on the ladder, like that are the most played, and ban them in Overwatch. I know people don't like that disconnect, but get this. If you properly balance the game and you nerf those heroes, people will not stop playing them, and they'll start playing what they are in Overwatch. So a lot of people are upset that Mei and Reaper and Torb aren't bannable in Overwatch League because they're not played on the ladder. And the truth is, if you nerfed Hanzo, McCree, Widow, Ashe, would say, they would then start falling back to these heroes that you see in Overwatch League. And then in that case, when they get banned, because they're played a lot, then you would nerf them. But then becomes the most ridiculous shit I have ever fucking heard. I'm going to back it up for a second.
For like an entire month, players who enjoy playing McCree are just going to stop playing the game, and we do not want that for everyone. So I know there are some people who are going to respond to this video and be like, well, I really appreciate the fact that I can always adapt and diversify every week or every month or whatever and play different heroes, but the problem is not you. The problem is those players who do not like the current system and are going to stop playing the game.
So, and this is why I think it's hilarious. Now that the game is looking to ban McCree and people can't play McCree, the system is wrong and needs to be changed. Remember when people were doing performance-based SR and they said that would kill 1-tricks? And then we went to roll queue and people were like, that's going to kill 1-tricks. And then people were doing mass false reports. Fury got banned. so he was unable to play the game because he was playing a hero all the time. And now that the Widows and the McCrees that only play Widow McCree because they are the easiest heroes to win with. I'm not saying skill-wise they're the easiest, but you look on the ladder, look top 500, who's number 1 usually? It's Widow, McCree, Tracer. All of a sudden, we gotta stop and back up. Whoa, guys, we gotta think about the system again. We're affecting really important people that play McCree and Widow. So all the people that played Junkrat don't matter, Symmetra don't matter, Torb don't matter, Bastion, like all the people that are off meta that have been essentially getting hated, have games thrown. Like, look at me, guys. Like, I was at a 30 to 40% throw rate the first 8 months of Overwatch. Because people didn't like I picked Junkrat. They just said he's a bad hero. Nope. But now that it's affecting hit scan, all of a sudden they're crying about it. And it's to that end where I'm just like, that's really fucking dumb. That's really, really fucking dumb. And as long as Blizzard doesn't balance, the issues will never get solved. The truth is that the issues need to get balanced out. And they will get balanced out after, we balance the current heroes that are picked all the time. So McCree and Widow get nerfed according to this week ban. And when they don't play those heroes, then, they'll play another one.
Because the number 1 goal should be to have everyone continue to play the game.
Everyone, now the goal is, hey, everyone, we should work together, hand in hand. Don't worry about those 2 to 2.5 years that we hunted you guys down to not play the game, to stop you to play the game, to throw your games.
And actually grow a fan base. And if we just have 10-20% of the player base stop playing because their favorite hero is removed, that's not good for the community. That's not good for the game. So I think we should, 1, tie hero pools to stages for a prolonged amount of time to create some of that diversity in the Overwatch League, and also getting rid of hero pools in ranked to sort of make ranked a place where people can go to have fun. You don't make money. It's not a professional environment, so I don't see why we need to have hero pools in that.
And now the argument is that, whoa, guys, ladder is not the competitive place to. If you want to play competitive, don't go to the competitive ladder. When before this, everyone was saying the ladder is meant for winning only. It's not meant for getting better. It's meant for winning only. And it's funny, I've been saying what everyone else is saying now 3 years ago. So I just find it hilarious. No one has any fucking forward-looking vision. No one has any idea what the hell's going on. They just think short-term. So I find it funny that everyone's coming around to my way of thinking after
format.
2-3 years.
A lot of people are going to hint at the fact that we need diversity in ranked, but I think that
we do need diversity, but we get it through balancing. Basically, if everyone's allowed to play, then the strongest heroes will always be played. That's all there is. There needs to be diversity, but enforce it through balance and not through just a dominant, forceful pool. All I hear from this video is nothing about one-tricks. It's about the pros and streamers suddenly not streaming Overwatch, which is the real problem. No, this is completely about one-tricks. They've made it about streamers that have stopped playing because their heroes are getting banned, but the truth is, this is about a hero, or a person, wanting to play a single hero all the time. By definition, that's a one-trick. You can talk about something else, but it's one trick. Now everyone's sticking up for one tricks because they're finally enforcing it as a whole. They're saying one tricks as a whole. Before, if you're a Diva one trick, actually, it's still if you're a Diva one trick, everyone loves you. You're still untouchable. But yes,
you have hero pools in the Overwatch League while not having hero pools in ranked. It's going to be harder for the people.
And one more thing too about it is why I like tying Overwatch League picks to ranked is that it forces Blizzard to do something balance-wise. Because if you can't play these big heroes in Overwatch League, then they'll start balancing. It'll kick their butt along a little.
People in ranked to sort of copy and mimic the meta that is played in the Overwatch League, because you'll simply have too many tools available in ranked. If we have 5 heroes removed from the Overwatch League meta, and then allow those 5 same heroes in ranked, those 5 heroes will be able to provide the ranked players to sort of shake up the Overwatch League meta. So it's going to be harder to...
So what he's saying here is, if Overwatch League is restricted with their hero pool, but the ladder isn't, then the ladder should be able to figure out what you can do to beat that meta if the tools are available. I actually disagree completely.
To mimic those compositions, and I think that allows for diversity while allowing a lot of people who are fans of those heroes removed to still play the game and enjoy the game. I don't think a lot of people will look at the Overwatch League and be like, oh, McCree is removed, it's not the same game experience that I...
When Overwatch League first came out and it was in different patches, everyone complained that what they were playing is not what the league was playing. So this point is wrong. People will complain that there's a difference between Overwatch League and ladder play, and it's an issue.
Having ranked and dislike it, I rather think that people are going to look at the Overwatch League and be like, hey, I want to see what the Overwatch League teams will be doing with these heroes removed, and it'll be sort of like fascinating and interesting, while the players or the viewers themselves still have the capability to play whatever they want in ranked, play to have fun and really enjoy the game, and use the Overwatch League as sort of like an interesting experiment, while we're still able to create great narratives in the Overwatch League about how this is a really good dive team, this is a really good tank team, etc. throughout the season. And at the end of the day, I think at the end of the season, we're still going to look at some of these teams and be like, this is the best overall Overwatch team because they were able to be good in the dive meta.
That may be true or not
meta,
true, but
etc. And I think that's going to be...
overall, I'm not too worried about the narrative about building an Overwatch League. That's cool if it does it, but I'm more worried about getting the ladder to a balanced state so that Overwatch League is in a balanced
really
state.
Cool to still be able to create those narratives while not disabling people from playing their favorite heroes in ranked. The most important thing is that players continue to play the game, and so it's not about the people.
I find it amazing that there's all this camaraderie now that Overwatch is having significant issues. This wasn't happening before, right? When there were issues, when people were being hunted down in the ladder, when people were getting spammed and briefed and all this other stuff.
People who enjoy adapting and enjoy hero pools because it changes up the things. It's more about the players who are going to stop playing the game or wait for the next hero pool because they don't like that their favorite hero gets removed. If that's 10, 20%, that's a massive blow to the player base overall. It's probably not 10 or 20%, but if a certain percentage of players stop quitting, stop playing the game because their favorite heroes are removed, that's a big blow.
Yeah, and the only reason this is being talked about,
and that's why I think hero pools as a system is not going to work.
I actually completely disagree with him. I don't believe him for a second. The only reason he is talking about hero pools is because McCree and Riddle were banned. If Torb and Reaper were banned the whole time, this whole Overwatch League, this whole system, just no one would be saying damn. You wouldn't be like, oh,
so
camaraderie.
Let's move on then. Another point. What
it's finally affecting him. So
what happens if a meta is in ranked for a prolonged amount of time? Like, what happens if we get GOATS 2.0 and it just goes on forever for like 2-3 months, sort of like what we've had with May? I think the basic answer is that we just need balance changes. We need more patch notes.
He's 100% correct. Every issue in Overwatch, roll queue, griefing, one tricks, everything, is because of balance. That's it. If this game was balanced from the start, it would be a completely different game. It would be a completely different community. Blizzard has to start working. They need to, aggressive balance changes. Exactly, Lucky. They've been saying in the start of the year they said they're going to do aggressive balance changes. They have yet to do it. To me, aggressive would be every 2 weeks changing half the hero roster, a little bit, not massive, but a little bit. And any heroes that are seen as overpowered get drastic changes, meaning like, oh, Widow's too strong. She does not have grappling. Let's see what that's like in live. I want aggressive patches, stuff that piss people off and will change things for them.
And that has to be the primary way to deal with diversity and change things up. I don't think we can introduce a new system on top of an already existing system and just use a bunch of systems to create an atmosphere and a nature where we see diversity. I'd rather just see we get rid of as many systems as possible and make it a pure
Blizzard
experience,
is making too many
and then
systems.
just use some balance changes and patch notes.
So I wrote about this in my blog. I'm like, there's too many systems, and they all are because of Blizzard's reluctance to balance. If they just balanced the game, most of these systems wouldn't have need to exist.
To sort of aid diversity and help it really flourish. So, how do we deal with that? Well, I think it would be fantastic if the Overwatch...
I'll kind of just stop it here, because he talks about, like, oh, they should balance bi-weekly, do X, Y, and Z. But yeah. But that's kind of the state of the game right now, is where people are really pissed off at hero pools because it's finally affecting them. People thought hero pools were going to just remove the heroes they thought were annoying. And when they didn't have control over it, because it's put in by Blizzard and pick rates, they're just like, oh no, this sucks. My heroes are getting banned. This isn't fair. Guys, we really needed all this about 2.5 years ago, where we all just started sticking up for each other and started trying to get a better community and better balancing and just better everything. Instead, we divided ourselves up, called each other, shit, and now we're, after we lost 50% probably of our user base from 2 years ago. Now we're just like, oh shit, please, oh no, we're sorry, we didn't mean to, attack you guys, but they hunted us down. That's what they did. Again, in my blog, I wrote so much shit. I wrote a lot. I just needed to get everything out. I wrote it in a very awkward way. It's a little bit weird. I've never written this way before, but I just tried it. If you're really interested in it, then go ahead and read it, but it is a bit of reading. But yeah, I really think this whole hero pool stuff and everyone going around it makes me laugh. I think it's so funny because all the people that were hunted down, like Dewey, me, Steve-O, all these people that play off meta heroes that were hunted down for being one tricks, we're not part of this anymore because our heroes aren't going to get banned. We just don't. No one plays them. They're weak. They're not that easy to play, and people can't win with them. So they're just not going to get played, and they're not going to get banned. And now that the popular heroes are getting banned because they are highest win rate, they are the easiest to play, or easiest to win with, I should say. Now it's an issue. So I think it's hilarious. And every time I see people talk about hero pools, no one knows what they're talking about. Hero pools are great. They need to be based on the ladder, and as long as balance patches come out, I think everything will be pretty. I love this game, but I'll play it all the time. But I haven't played years because games just stopped being fun. That's what happens. People got really competitive. They said, "Do what I say, or I'm going to grief you and yell at you." That's kind of what happens. We'll go to see what happens in Overwatch 2, but right now it's until they truly balance Overwatch. The shit that I've been saying for years, guys. Nothing is going to fix it. No system. Not hero pools, not map pools, not rogue queue, not performance-based SR, or whatever the fuck they kept on throwing at us. Nothing is going to work until you fix the balance issue, and that would fix the toxicity. And a lot of the complaint. I think I'll wrap it up there, just because I don't want to be ranting too long. But thanks everyone for joining me tonight and listening.